suppress the burn, to suppress acidity. It's also a fuel. When you feel that burn, lactate is shuttled to those areas of the muscle, and there's an actual fuel burning process where in the absence of oxygen, you can continue to generate muscular contractions. Now, this is informative because it also tells us that that burning, that acidity that we feel, can inhibit the way that our muscles work, but that lactate comes in and allows our muscles to continue to function. So we'll talk a little bit more about what this whole lactate thing and the burn means, but it's a really important process, and it's amazing to me that most people understand it in exactly the incorrect way. They think, oh, lactic acid is bad and the burn is bad. No, it reveals a number of really important things are going on with this vital molecule lactate, which can reduce acidity, reduce the burn, as well as act as a fuel. Now, here's where it gets really, really cool. And if you don't have enough of an incentive to exercise based on all the information out there about how it'll make you live longer and make your heart better, etc., here's a reason that regardless of what kind of exercise you do, if it's weight training or running or cycling or swimming, that every once in a while, about 10% of the time, you should exercise to the point of intensity where you start to feel that so-called burn, right? The reason for that is that lactate shows up to the site of the burn, so to speak, and it acts as a hormonal signal for other organs of the body in a very positive way, okay? As you may recall from a very early episode of the Huberman Lab podcast, I talked about what a hormone is and how it works. We have lots of different kinds of hormones, but hormones are chemicals that are released in one location in the body and have effects on lots of other organs of the body. So when I say that lactate acts as a hormonal signal, what I mean is that it's in a position to influence tissues that are outside of the muscle. And basically, it can send signals to the heart, to the liver, and to the brain, and it can have effects on the heart, the liver, and the brain that are very positive. Okay, so just to zoom out for a second, I promise we won't get any more technical than this. We will get into tools and protocols that are really straightforward. But what I'm telling you is that if you feel a burn from a particular exercise or movement, that burn is going to be buffered by this molecule we call lactate. Lactate will then provide additional fuel for additional work. So this is a good incentive, provided you can do it safely, to quote unquote work through the burn. That burn is acts as a beacon to the lactate, which comes in and allows you to do more work. It's not a signal to stop necessarily. I mean, stop if you're doing something unsafe, but it's a signal that lactate should come in and allow you to continue to do work. And it can act as a hormonal signal. Lactate can then travel to the heart and to the liver and to the brain and can enhance their function in positive ways, not just in those moments, but in the period of time that follows. So many people are curious about how they can exercise to make their brain better. That's one of the most common questions I get. What I'm telling you is that provided you can do it safely, by engaging the so-called burn, which is a different threshold for everybody, right? Your hill run will be different than my hill run to generate the burn. But provided you can do that for about 10% of your workout or of an individual workout or activity of any kind, you are generating the activity of this lactate-based hormonal signal that can improve the function of neurons. And it does that, if you want to know, for the aficionados, by improving the function of another cell type called the astrocytes, which are a glial cell type, okay, which are very involved in clearance of debris from the brain. They're involved in the formation of synapses, connections between neurons in the brain. So put simply, if you're an exerciser, if you're doing movement of any kind, and you're interested in allocating some of that movement toward enhancing brain, heart, and liver health, there is a nice set of scientific data that points to the fact that getting lactate shuttled to the muscles by engaging this burning sensation is advantageous for the health of those other tissues. So as I mentioned, that burn is present from lack of oxygen being present, and then the hydrogen comes in and you get this lactate.